But now it looks like he's anticipating the third base coming up for Flash. And Flash, fortunately for him, he's coming down with a troop to defend this base. He has a siege mode ready. Cal's got to back off. I don't think he'll be able to fight this, but looks like Callie's pushing forward anyway, taking out all the Marines, but the siege tank's inching forward, going to get a sneak attack on those Dragoons. Oh, a lot of Dragoons get damaged, taken down. I think Cal was a little bit lucky in that engagement. I don't know. Whoa, Cal coming down with even more troops. Looks like he's going to try to deny this base and just drill through everything down here. It's going to be so difficult, though, with the positioning of those siege tanks at the low ground. It's just, I don't think Cal's going to be able to break through and take those down, but he is going to be able to deny this base a little bit longer. Going to lose maybe one too many Dragoons, though. Cal still fighting down the ramp, but very nicely positioned siege tanks from Flash, just able to clean up everything. And I think that was a little bit overzealous, pardon the Protoss pun, but overzealous of Cal to try to push that. I mean, he has such a large army. He could have committed those troops elsewhere, or at least done a double-pronged attack. But it looks like he picked off as many units as he can before backing off. But it's always good to put on the pressure when you're putting up a base of your own. That just whittles down the army of the other player and keeps them from moving out a little bit longer while you get your third base up and running. But of course at Protoss, I guess not always, but you pretty much want to be one base over a Terran player at all times. And that is why Cal is up at the 12 o'clock position, getting ready to establish his fourth base already, even though he just now established this one over at the 9 o'clock. So he blocked off with pylons. We're going to see him throwing down that Nexus very soon at the 12 o'clock. And he has Arbiters on the way, most likely for a recall attack. This map is so difficult for Protoss to deal with Terran just because of the way it's laid out. A lot of chokes, especially there's two chokes down at the 12 o'clock and up at the 12 o'clock and down at the 6 o'clock position. But there's a lot of other chokes. There's the bridge choke area that's very easy to hold with tanks, and even if you get by the bridge, there's a high ground there where more tanks will be, and you know that Flash is going to have the perfect positioning of those tanks to take out everything that comes through. So coming in with stasis, I mean, Cal could commit to stasis right now, a stasis attack. Stasis the tanks, take out the 6 o'clock position, mixing those up already. It's been a long day. But yes, he could try that, but I don't think that it's going to be as effective as it could be. Flash, especially recently, has been so good about parsing out his tanks, keeping them very spaced out away from each other, so stasises just aren't as effective. You got to get those clumps of tanks in the stasis to make them largely effective, to make it economically feasible, militarily feasible. I don't think that's an adverb, but to push by. But at Cal, he is grouping up a couple of units, maybe for a flank attack soon. He has some units to the north and some units to the west of what Flash has outside of his front. As I said, very easy to hold that bridge positioning. And look at the space between the tanks. I mean, a couple of those tanks might be stasis, but more than two and one stasis I think is very unlikely at this point for Cal. Cal getting a pretty booming economy now, and Flash hasn't really done anything about the bases soon. I don't think that's in Flash's plan right now, though. His very early Vulture harass didn't quite work out for him, so he knows that Cal is probably going to be prepared for that soon. If he gets a ton of Vultures out, he might try to hit that 12 o'clock soon. But at this point, I think he's just going to try to amass a huge army, which is going to be a lot easier to do with these mines out here. I mean, even if Cal has observers in, he's just going to waste all the time, all the Dragoon energy balls, taking those down instead of focusing on the siege tanks, which will no doubt be destroying his face. Okay, let's see what Cal is up to. He already has his fourth base, so I'm wondering if he's going to work on his fifth soon. Oh, yes, he is, up at the 2 o'clock position, taking the fifth base. So a massive, massive expand from Cal. This might be a little bit risky, but if he can hold these bases, hold the bases, or at least go for a counterattack if they're being attacked soon, I think he'll be okay. Because it's going to be difficult for Flash to take his fourth base. He doesn't really have many options. He has the 3 o'clock position, which will be difficult to position enough tanks up there to make that count, especially once Recall comes into this game, which no doubt Cal has something researched for those Arbiters now. We're going to find out what that is soon, but a Recall could be so effective at the 3 o'clock position. And that's why I think that Flash is kind of shying away from that right now. He doesn't have a base over there yet. He wants to have enough troops out to be able to defend against a recall if Cal should recall on top of that. So Flash is going to have to stay at 3 bases a little bit longer, but that could be in his strategy anyway, just to group up a huge amount of troops from 3 bases before moving out and taking the 4th. I see 2 forges spinning for Cal. He's getting a huge amount of upgrades and upgrading +1. I think he's upgrading +1 at the cybernetics core. This could indicate a tech switch into carriers, actually. I don't think he would have waited this long to get Dragoon range. I think he had that anyway. I'll have to look at the range of those Dragoons as they're firing on mines or something, but I don't think he has Dragoon range yet. There's going to be a recall. I think it's going to be at the 6 o'clock position. Oh, man, this is going to be intense. A bunch of Arbiters coming in. Oh, 3 Arbiters coming into this vicinity. Going to drop. Oh, they're hallucinations, actually, from Cal. He falls into a huge mine trap, though. Oh, I had a feeling those might have been hallucinations, but I hadn't seen a High Templar yet, so I wanted to reserve my judgment until I actually saw one of those go down. But those were hallucinated Arbiters. Not quite an effective recall. Stop the mining a little bit down at the 6 o'clock position. And if Cal, if he keeps expanding like he's doing right now, and keeps dropping bases like this, denying the mining from... I mean, Flash is only at 3 bases, so if he loses mining from one of them, it's going to be a pretty dramatic loss. But now he's getting that base up and running again. So Cal got to keep on the pressure. And Flash, he knows that this is wrong, so he's pushing out right now. Going to try to take out a base, but Cal coming into the middle, going to try to stop that from happening. Coming in with his Arbiter as well. He might have a stasis prepared. He might be able to get a huge stasis on these troops if he has it. He might not even need it. Coming in with so many Dragoons, pushing the front, actually backing off. I think he might have had enough troops to do that if he committed himself to it, but... Still, he's getting even more gateways up at the 2 o'clock position. And I still think he's upgrading +1 attack at his cybernetics core because Dragoon range would have been done by now if it was Dragoon range. So I think, yes, Fleet Beacon, the carrier tech switch from Cal. He's got to hope and pray that that Flash does not scout that, though, because Flash has some of the best anti-carrier play in the game. His Goliath, the amount of Goliaths he can get out there is just scary sometimes. Here's another recall. This one, no mines were there to greet it. To greet the recall. So, oh, come on, Cal. Focus fire on that command center. Looks like he's coming up. He is focusing on the command center as best he can. He takes it out. So he did get the damage done. Flash now on 2 bases, and Flash is not looking good. Even though he cleaned up this attack, he took down a huge amount of troops. Not looking good. Rebuilding his command center right now, and there's still one pesky Dragoon back there, so Flash is in full panic mode right now, I think. I think Flash is going to move out soon. He needs to get some kind of aggressive play on to at least take down 1 base of Cal's, because Cal at this point, he lost a bunch of troops, so he's building them back up. He has a bunch of gateways up at the 2 o'clock and the 10 o'clock position, so he's going to be able to replenish that army very, very quickly. So Flash running out of time to act on the situation, and he knows it, so he's curling his way over to the 9 o'clock position so he can take that out. Let's see if Cal can do anything about that. And Cal has a couple of cannons. I'm not sure what he's doing down here with these cannons. Look like either he's setting up to take that 8 o'clock position, or he's trying to deny that for Flash. Either way, it's kind of crazy, but he does have quite a few troops on the map now. And Flash trying to establish that unbeatable tank line. Flash's tank lines are some of the scariest in the game because just as you think you've destroyed them all, there are 5 more right behind them. Oh, D-Matrix 2 with a storm coming in for Cal, storming right on top of all of the tanks, doing wonderful storms, actually, to drill through the tanks, but it looks like he doesn't quite have the ground army to back that up. And Flash, there's an SCV with brass ones, building a command center right in the fray, and I don't even think Flash had the time or focus to cancel that, so I think he lost a lot of minerals in that. But still, he's very confident in being able to take this base, so he's coming down right now with another SCV to build that base as he takes out all of the Dragoons. So very confident he's going to be able to block that, and I'm not oh, now he knows about the stuff up down there at the 8 o'clock position, so he's going to try to take down everything down there. As Callie had another hidden gateway down there just to pump some troops so he could take that out. That was actually smart thinking from Cal. Unfortunately, it's not going to quite work out for him. he was going to try to build up enough troops to eventually take down that base just from this position down at the 8 o'clock. But Cal is already doing wonderfully right now. All he's got to do is deny this fourth base from Flash by any means necessary. I mean, just double recalls, just recall everywhere. And as long as he denies his fourth base, I think he's going to be okay because he's taken so many bases of his own. He has a massive economy going. Of course, this is a little bit risky from him, a little bit risky to take this many bases because he's not going to be able to quite out-pump Flash once it comes to ground troops. He has more troops than Flash right now, but still... Okay, he's coming down with an Arbiter, doing the recall on top of the fourth base, just as I instructed. Oh, I see that Cal's listening to me. Uh-oh, Cal, maybe you shouldn't have listened to me. It looks like all of these Dragoons just get absolutely slaughtered, but only a couple troops left for Flash over here. Looks like that tank at the high ground was his saving grace there.